in uncharted waters. We're at the 22nd annual Antique Tractor Club of Trumbull County show here in Vienna, Ohio. And I'll tell you, this is something new for me. Hi, I'm Rick Gurrera for Armstrong Street Scene, and this is a lot of fun. A lot of tractors and some odd stuff too that we've never even seen before, and we're learning about it. Hey, you know what? Let's go inside and check some of these. With me I have Terry Taylor with the Antique Tractor Club of Trumbull County, the president.
Yes.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good.
So how many years has this been now?
Oh boy, we've been here on this grounds. I think this is our 5th year here, and they started out actually in Johnson Township at their park in Johnson, and had a show there, and then they moved over to the Alabama Grotto grounds over off of Bypass, off Elm Road. And we're there for several years, and we found this property. We have 48 acres here, purchased it at a real good price. And the guy was kind to us because we were an organization and got it at a good price. And we've done a lot of work and taken out some trees here so we have some clear land.
Well, you got the power to do it, huh? All these tractors.
But we've got trails through the woods. There's a whole bunch of acreage back here. We got trails through the woods, trail rides through the woods, and we just got all kinds of things going here.
So this is what, the 22nd annual show. And tell me about the show. How long does it run? It's like just a one-day event? Or
it's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We also have a 2-day show in May. It's the 3rd weekend May, and this is always the 3rd weekend in August. And then this year we're starting one in October.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have a small show in October. Mostly it's going to be for ourselves, you know, and public's welcome. And we're going to take some tractor rides through the woods and have a little picnic and sell some stuff.
So if someone wanted to become a member of the club, what would you do?
You just go into the big red barn there and see Debbie, and she'll sign you up. It's $12 for a single member, $14 for family. That covers everybody in the household, husband, wife, and any children under 18.
Right. We didn't tell them where we're located at here either.
We're in Vienna. We're on Ridge Road in Vienna, right behind the air base.
Yeah, the air base is right there.
Yeah, it's right there. You'll probably hear the planes here pretty soon. They'll be warming up and taking off and driving us crazy.
Not only is Terry the president of the club, he also has a very nice tractor back there we're standing behind us. Let's talk about it.
It's a 1951 Minneapolis Moline CAU. I grew up next door to a farm, and they had one of these and a Farm All H. And the Farm All H is in my garage being restored right now.
Farm LH?
Farm All.
Farm All.
Farm All. Farm All Model H.
Okay.
Yeah.
Model H.
This is a 1951. I just
what do we have? What kind of engines do we have in this thing?
Oh, these are Moline engines. Moline made their own motors. So these are Moline motors. They're 4-cylinder motor. They're like 38 horsepower, something like that. Not a lot.
What's this tractor used for?
It was mainly farming. It plow and cultivate and pull around your hay baler or mowing machine, whatever you needed, manure spreader.
Because a lot of these tractors are built for different purposes, right?
Some of them were, yes.
This is basically an all-purpose tractor.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this company still in existence?
No.
No, they're out.
They early '60s they went out, or mid '60s they went out of business. They were combined with other companies.
All right. Looks pretty simple to work on.
Yeah, it's not too bad. There's no computers and all that stuff on them, and yeah, they're not too bad. Finding parts is the hard part.
Well, yeah, where do you find the parts at?
There's some parts stores that you can get online or mail order, and locally there's some salvage yards around that aren't too far away that have
nothing but tractors.
Yeah,
really.
Rows and rows of tractors.
Wow, I'm used to car junkyards and stuff like that, salvage yards and trucks and stuff like that. Tractors.
Same thing with tractors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a year on this?
No, I don't know the year on that.
It's old though.
It's old.
Does it work?
with a little bit of help, it probably would.
WD-40.
Well, it needs some parts. There's a few things missing on it.
So if you would guess, how old is that?
I would guess somewhere probably in the late 30s, early 40s, somewhere in there. I'm not sure.
That's how they did it back then, huh?
Yeah.
With me I have Dale Jaster from Johnston, Ohio. About, what, 10 miles up the road from here, right, Dale?
That's correct.
What are you sporting here? A nice old 19, what, 25?
An old 25 model and Fordson tractor. How I got interested in Fordson was after joining the Antique Tractor Club, I come to realize that there didn't seem to be many Fordsons in the club. And so I had the opportunity to buy this one at an auction. And so I bought it and got it running and just having a ball with it now. And the second reason that I kind of wanted a Fordson was because when I was 9 years old, I managed to convince my father that I could disc corn stalks.
You could what?
Disc the corn stalks. So he let me take the Fordson, the old Fordson that he had, out to the field and disc up these corn stalks. Well, I went along about an hour there and everything was fine, but I noticed the tractor right front wheel was wobbling. Apparently the bearing was going bad. So I drove it up to the house and shut it off, and here, without me knowing, the radiator had already been drained dry. The motor locked up and we never run that tractor again after that. It went to the junkyard.
And that was what, a Fordson?
That was a Fordson just like this. So
that's where it all started at then.
what happened?
Let me ask you, is this made by the Ford company?
Yes, it was made by Ford and his son were together on this.
Okay, that's where Fordson comes in at.
Yes.
Yeah, so what do we got here? We got a 1925 Fordson. What size engine is this?
Well, it's I'm not real sure. I think it's about 20 horsepower.
Four-cylinder?
4-cylinder, yes.
Where do you find parts at for this?
I bought most of my parts out of a dealer up in Michigan. It was called the Fordson House.
So you can't find parts for this then, huh?
Yeah, they're still available. Some of the things are just standard parts like rings and for the engine and that. And then I had the engine rebuilt over in Greenville, Pennsylvania by, I can't think of the name right now. The engine's been rebuilt though, and it's
So these are different engines than cars, right? They have a special tractor engine.
very similar to the one that was in the Model Ts, larger than the Model T. One man told me, he said you couldn't tell the difference at 50 yards.
50, yeah. You know what I really like on this? Your gas gauge.
Nobody knows what it is.
It's your gas gauge.
Tell those old farmers what that is.
That's a good one. This gas gas tank. Looks like a new gas tank on here.
No, it's original.
Oh, it's original? Okay. You got what, a nice wood wheel? Is that stock too?
That's what they had originally, and so
That looks like right off a car steering wheel.
yeah.
Okay, welcome to Tech Tips. Today we're at Buckeye Restoration here in Canfield, Ohio. We got Nate Miller with us and Jeff, and what are we working on today?
What we're going to do is, and this is Jeff's first time here setting points in like 20 years,
Okay.
what we've noticed lately in the last 5 years in the industry is a lot of people are going to electronic ignitions, but if you have an old distributor, there's a way to set the points.
Okay.
And Jeff's just going to set the points right here. It's pretty simple. We have a feeler gauge here, and he's going to adjust it to, what's the gauge? 12 thousandths.
12
Go for it.
Loosen the screw, the points will close. An adjustment in here for this. You got the points open. That's it.
And that's it. To get to the high spot on the cam, you can turn the fan and everything, right? Is that how you get?
Yeah, or the
you can,
crankshaft.
or the crankshaft. Okay, that'll do it. From Columbiana, Ohio, we got Dennis Unger in his 1951 Massey 11.
Model 11 pony, yes.
What did they use these for?
Tobacco growing, market gardening, all kind of small stuff where a big tractor won't fit in. And they built to last forever. And they're just about the same as a Farmall Cub, only about probably 40% heavier duty. And this one's got 8 horsepower.
8 horsepower?
Well, that's different. Those are called Nebraska horsepower.
Okay.
They're rated at the University of Nebraska, the Lincoln, at Lincoln.
I've heard that before with cars. Like the later cars were rated a different rate horsepower than they are this.
These have 2 horsepowers, one on the drawbar and one on the power takeoff.
What's the drawbar?
The drawbar is what you pull something with.
Okay.
In the back, and the power takeoff shaft is where the tractor will actually run a different implement. And these are rated, one of them, the drop bar is 10 and the power takeoff is 8, or the other way around, something like that. And a little 4-cylinder engine runs on about a pint of gas a day.
Oh, that's not bad.
They really, really are economical.
What kind of engine is that?
That is a Continental 62 cubic inch, and like I said, they don't rate the engine, it's the tractor that has the power.
Right.
Unlike lawnmowers and stuff where you can get a 22 horsepower engine and it's, you know, well, it's a lawnmower. Yes, sir.
What's the difference between a Massey Harris and like a John Deere or a McCormick Deering?
Massey's are from Canada.
Okay.
And mostly back in the old days they were 4 and 6 cylinders, where your old John Deere's were 2-cylinder. They're big differences, yeah. And the way they rated the horsepower and the style of the engines, like the John Deere you're talking about back in this vintage, the engine actually laid in there crossways. And this one is longitudinal like the majority of the tractors. I restored this one about 12 years ago.
That's what you do for your hobby, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
What else? I see something else over here you restored.
Oh yeah, that's these little garden tractors. You know, sometimes you want to do a project and you don't really have a lot of room in the barn anymore, so I remember these tractors from when I was a teenager. I always kind of wanted one. Well, maybe more like 8 or 9 years old. I always wanted one of these, so I did that one over there first. And then somebody says, how'd you like to have another one? I said, no, I can't use but one. And then I got to thinking, you know, this hobby, what it does, it keeps you off the streets and out of the bars.
That's it, too.
So I did this one up. I'd like to sell it because, well, you know, it doesn't even fit in the barn. It has to sleep out under a tarp at night. So I probably ought to sell it. In the meantime, I guess I own it.
For sale, huh?
Yes.
We got a little bit of everything here today, huh?
Yeah, and my bigger tractor I didn't bring with me because, well, I can only hold so much on the trailer, and I come from down in Columbiana County, and it's a little ways off.
With me I have Dwayne Tricker from Kinsman, Ohio, right hometown boy here, huh?
That is true, that is true.
Yeah.
20 miles north of here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's where all the hot rodders are from, huh?
Some are there, yes.
Yeah, I got a lot of hot rodders there, NASCAR guys. And
Right.
I'm thinking of that, who am I thinking
Blaney?
of? Blaney's, right.
Up at Hartford?
Right,
Yes.
that's
Right,
it.
right.
That's it. Hey, we're standing in front of a 1939 General.
Yes, sir.
One of many for you, huh?
That is true.
How many tractors do you have?
I have 19 total antiques. I got 9 down here.
Wow.
Right.
So when you told me you graduated high school in '57, that's
That
when
is
all the
true.
car guys were going nuts with
That
the
is true.
57s.
57 Chevys is hot.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you got into tractors. How did you get into tractors?
Well, after we sold the dairy out, we just thought we'd get into the hobby, and it's been great. Sure. We love it, you know.
This is probably a lot cheaper than a car, too.
I think so.
Hey, tell me about this General you got here.
Yes. It's a 39 hand crank made in Cleveland, Ohio. And they made the same tractor, but they paint them different colors for different other companies to sell. Like the one behind is a twin row for Montgomery Ward, sold them through the catalog. And it's a single front wheel, which is kind of unusual, you might say. But just a simple tractor, right?
How about parts for it? Can you get the parts for it?
No problem at all. We get parts for it through Steiner, and yep, no problem.
And this is what, like an all-purpose tractor?
Yes.
Okay.
A row
I'm trying to figure all this out. I'm not
Yes.
too familiar with
Yeah.
tractors, what they do and what their purposes
They
are.
call it a row crop tractor because it'll straddle the rows.
And you put it right here, what, in the center of it?
You can put cultivators go right here on both sides. They'll do 2 rows of corn at a time.
Okay.
You turn the wheels around to make it wider. You
Oh.
two rows of corn at a time.
Oh, that's neat. Okay. I've seen that done on Volkswagens before.
Yes.
Different tractors, but that's how they do it, huh? So
Right.
tell me, what do you have in your collection? You got the General, you got this one here, that Ward's.
Oh, I got the Minneapolis Moline with a spreader. We can call it a people hauler now. John Deere with the plows. Alice Chalmers, International, and a Case dozer. And I've got an old International truck with a crawler on the back of it. And that's my collection here.
Yeah.
I still got some at home.
You got 19 of them.
I do,
You
yeah.
must have a heck of a big barn.
I got 2 little barns, you know, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's nice to have them under cover, you know.
Right.
But the birds like them too, is the only problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you use them?
Some of them I do use on the farm, sure.
But you're into the show, a lot of these.
The
with
show, yes, yeah. We don't farm that many acres anymore, so, but we have a cab tractor for harvesting and stuff, yeah.
Where do you guys go for shows? This one's here in
Here, and then of course Burton is a big show. Stoneboro's a big show. Ashtabula County in Williamsfield is a big show.
You hit all the like fairs and everything.
The fairs too, yes, sure.
How about Canfield? Do you ever go to Canfield?
I don't take stuff there, but we do go down there. It's a great show. You should have a great show for sure.
Sounds good.
Right, yeah.
19 of them, huh?
Yes.
This is the
And
tractor guy.
It's just a challenge to keep the batteries charged up and the gas in them, and you like to run them once in a while to keep the seals from drying up on them.
Right.
And they all work, you know. I can
With
work.
the crank, you don't need a battery.
That is true.
Right?
You don't need a battery.
You don't need to
Just
crank it up.
Armstrong. Need Armstrong.
Yeah, Armstrong. Yeah, really.
For sure.
All right. Dwayne, thanks for sharing your tractors
I'm
with us.
glad you've done
It's
that.
a nice collection you got here.
Glad you guys came out to our show. We enjoy that.
Are you going to get anything else? You looking at anything else?
Not today.
That's it. They have a clothes washing service here from the early 1900s. How you like this? You put your clothes in here, it dumps out, and you can dry them up in here. How would you like to do that nowadays, huh? And how about this one? This one looks older yet. You just shove your clothes in there, and if I'm not mistaken, you spin this thing and it spins in there. You take them out and you gotta let it go. You dry them on this. I don't want to hear anybody complain about doing laundry this weekend, huh? I got Dan with me here, and Dan, you got a pretty neat display here. What do you got going on here?
Well, these are all 3 Stover engines.
Stover.
Stover is the company that made them.
Out of Illinois, Freeport, Illinois,
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
they used to make cast iron pans and everything else like that. They made quite a few things. This one here is a 1918.
1918. And what was it used for?
Like that was used for anything they needed power for on the farms in the old days. They'd belt it up to with a belt to the pulley. So like I say, they'd wash clothes, they'd pump their water, anything.
How about power for the house? Same thing?
Well, these weren't, no, you couldn't really run a generator off them. They're hit and miss.
Okay.
And they're not a steady enough turn.
Okay.
Your power would fluctuate too much to be able to run a generator with. They did make some that were throttle governed or something that you could, but these were mostly for the power on that.
So this is what, a
1918.
What about the one up here?
That one there is a 1924. The one over on the other side, now these are both 2 horsepower.
Okay.
But look at the differences in the size and everything. This has the open crankshaft, that's all enclosed modern. They're both 2 horsepower, but the difference in the ages, the improvements as they made. That one's a 1934.
Okay.
So in, what, less than 20 years?
Yeah.
The difference as they came along. Now they have, the oiling system is what they call a total loss oiling system. If you looked over here, this is just a drip oiler.
Okay.
You open that up, and that feeds the cylinder and your wrist pin. The piston and the wrist pin. Back here you have a grease cup on your connecting rod, but you just have what they call felt oilers on your main bearings. You just put oil on it, make sure you have oil on that felt, and it keeps the main bearings oiled. You can see, and that's what trips your magneto and opens your exhaust system. Now this is hit and miss throttling, or hit and miss governing, what they call. So what it does is when it's running, when it gets up to speed, this governor lever here flips in and it holds the exhaust valve open. So it doesn't take a charge, it doesn't have any compression, and it freewheels until it slows down. Then this will release and it'll fire again and keep your speed up. What did these things in is actually the tractors. When tractors came out and had belt pulleys on the tractors,
Just take the wheel.
then you just start your tractor, drive it, and you throw the belt on that. So you, instead of pulling it, on the cart or whatever, just drive up to it, throw a belt on, and you're ready to go. So
Where do you find something like this at?
mostly at these shows, they have auctions. There's of course collectors all over the country,
Right.
and all over the world, really. And that's where you usually find these. If you're real lucky, you'll find one in a barn, but I've never been that lucky.
Right. Barn finds are great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Been sitting there for 50, 60 years. Yeah.
Now that one there, like I say, that's a 1927. That's a 3 horsepower. Basically, like you can see, it's still on the same type. It's got the open crankshaft on it. The big this got all their power really from the weight of the flywheels. Is what really kept these things going.
Hey, I love the cart it's on too. Is that part of it?
No, that's something that came out of a factory, but it's easier than trying to lift that.
Yeah, really. That's an oldie too. Huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's been around quite a while.
You're watching Armstrong Street Screen. Are going to our street steam.
With me I have Brian and Jacob Baxter from Holland, Ohio, with their 1922
Rumely Whirlpool. It's owned by our family.
It's owned by, how long have you owned this?
About 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, really? So tell me about the wheels. How come they had steel wheels back then?
The steel wheels were used because they didn't quite have the perfection of rubber yet, and they were a little bit less of a hustle to get the metal on than it was the actual rubber, because you had to make the rubber in the factory because there wasn't a lot of big rubber companies back then. And they were used to help, like they had a little bit more traction. But the one defect with the steel that made them go to rubber is if you have a farmer that farms a little bit and then goes to a competition or like a thrashing competition or something like that, they have trouble hauling it because if the trailer's wet, it has no traction whatsoever.
The advantage of this tractor, you can start it, use it, shut it off and walk away from it. A steam engine, you're just going to spend about an hour getting it fired up and about an hour putting it to bed after you use it.
That's the same principle though, it looks like.
That's actually just a radiator.
Oh, that's,
Yes.
the box, the radiator?
Yeah. The radiator was is unique compared to other tractors because in this box that you see for the radiator that says Rumely oil pool on the side of it, the pipe coming out and into the other side of the box, that was the exhaust. And when the hot air went out, it created a hot air vacuum and sucked cold air out from under it. And it cooled the series of fins which cooled the oil that surrounded the engine to cool it off.
There's no fan. There's no cooling fan on it. It just uses the engine exhaust to create an air siphon.
What do you mean? This runs off kerosene, is that?
It'll run off anything. It'll run off gasoline, kerosene, distillate, diesel fuel. It'll run on anything that burns.
Nice.
They guaranteed it.
Yeah.
You got a written guarantee when you bought one. It guaranteed to run on anything.
1922.
I'm just priming it, getting ready. I'll put the throttle up, pull this back. My father's getting some gas in the carburetor.
So let's turn around here, and you got this, what do you call it, wood saw behind us.
It's a turn-of-the-century Frick sawmill.
So you're talking like early 1900s?
Yes, sir.
Late 1800s?
Yes. We purchased that about 20 years ago out of a field in Pennsylvania. We brought it home, and it sat in the backyard for about 10 years. And we decided to get it put together so we could cut some wood for various projects in the house, and since then we've been hauling it to the shows and running it every year.
What's unique about the sawmill is that usually it'd be a stationary sawmill that you'd put in a barn, just with the entire rails and everything made out of wood. But with us wanting to take it to different shows, what was unique about it is that we went to a couple scrap yards and stuff like that, and we gathered some bus chassis. And that's what you see if you look at it.
That's what it's sitting on right now, those red things.
Yeah, the red rails are made out of bus chassis, but all of the spikes and stuff that sits on the metal part of the cart, that's all Frick. That's all original, just painted black Frick. We helped build a barn. There's several beams in his house that we've made out of this with this sawmill, and it's just bringing history back to its original state because it's just so amazing to have something like this, to preserve it and to give the younger generations the feeling of what built America as a whole, because this was what you use to build your house for the winter. I've been around tractors my entire life, and I've started to get really interested in it since I was 2. Yeah. It's quite a hobby.
Yeah, it sure is. Let me ask you one more question on this. Was this a commercial cutter?
It would have been, yes.
It would have been?
It would have been.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been a production mill at the time. They would have sold this mill to a sawmill that would have cut for like a whole community.
The fella in the ball cap that you see pulling the lever and making the cart go back and forth, that's my grandpa, and what the job that he's doing right now is considered the sawyer. And the sawyer does the measurements for all the boards. He estimates how far you should cut in to get all the bad bark off to get a nice clean cut board. And that is a pretty complicated job. Actually, yesterday we were sawing with it, and I tried it myself. And I don't have the time nor the perfect set of mind to do it.
In due time, you're still a young little guy, so.
Yeah, I have time. Being with my dad and my grandpa is a gift to be able to learn all this stuff. But yeah, it's just really fun to be around it and everything like that. And I'm just looking forward to what this hobby will bring for my family and families all around this hobby, because it's very unique way of spending your time, and it is actually really fun.
At the Tractor Antique Club show, we have a guy with a hobby. His name's Pete Schindler. Hi, Pete.
How are you today?
Good, good. Pete, I walked by this earlier and I go, look at these things. These are really neat. They're all handmade.
All handmade.
And how'd you start doing these?
Well, I was in the oil business for a lot of years, and this come a hobby of mine. And I kept it up after I sold out the oil business. And I really enjoy it. It's something to do.
Yeah.
Keeps your fingers working good.
Your mind working good?
And your mind, yeah.
Keeps you out of trouble?
Yeah, my wife takes her desk when I go to the shop, and she don't have to worry about it.
Right. These are really neat. How did you start doing these?
It got to be, I was in the oil business and I wanted something for a hobby for the winter time. And I started making them and giving them to my buddies that were in the oil business. And then all of a sudden, one guy said, well, you want to go out and show them. So this is my 13th year.
13th year here?
No, it's first year.
Okay.
First year here. I was invited last year, but I got a certain amount of dates on one side of the door.
Okay.
My wife makes them up, and I got shows I got to show up at.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun.
Are these replicas of pumps you've worked on and everything?
Yeah, I've seen everything I got here. I've seen, and different powerhouses. I got different powerhouses like that one there. Different styles that I've seen here and there, and the little hit and miss here are all new this year.
They're all unique in their way, huh? All these,
yeah, they're all oil field related. Otherwise, well, a lot of people don't know what they are.
Yeah, really. I kind of figured they were oil pumps or gas pumps. What are they? Oil pumps.
Oil pumps.
They pump the oil out of the ground.
Yeah, you can see them here, down underneath it.
Okay.
I make all the pumps and everything for them.
Pretty neat. What's your favorite one?
Oh my God!
All of them.
I can't go there.
No.
I think probably some of the new stuff that I started to breed hit and miss engines out of all wood, and I hide electric motor down underneath. And, they draw attention, especially whenever you burn the wood like this one here. In the oil field, they're always dark, dirty, greasy, but these are not really oil field stuff because they're too clean.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun.
Sure. How many do you have altogether, you know?
I got 26 or 27 in here. And there's a few more.
Yep. Oh, you got that smile on your face. What's a few more?
There's probably 40.
Yeah, okay.
I can go home and back up anything that's here.
Wow. And you just keep tinkering away, huh?
Oh, yeah. You got to.
How long have you been making these?
This was my 16th year.
16th, yeah.
And 13th year out running around.
We spent the morning here in Vienna, Ohio at the Antique Tractor Club of Trumbull County, their 22nd annual show. And I'll tell you what, we learned a lot here, and I never did tractors before and all this other stuff, and it's really interesting. A lot of fun here. The guys were just great out here, and they're just wholesome people out here in the country, and they just love showing off their collection, like car guys and the bike guys and all that. These guys are passionate about their hobby, and I can see why. It's really neat, really neat. For Armstrong Street Scene, I'm Rick Gurrera. I'll see you down the road.